India just made one of the most aggressive moves in the global AI race, and it has nothing to do with building smarter models. Instead, it's betting on something more fundamental, where AI actually runs. Under a proposal announced in India's annual budget, foreign cloud providers would be allowed to sell AI and cloud services abroad without paying any taxes through 2047, as long as those workloads run from Indian data centers. India's move only makes sense when you look at how the race is evolving. As frontier models converge in capability and training costs continue to rise, the advantage is shifting away from raw intelligence and towards infrastructure. Compute, power, cooling, land, and uptime are becoming just as decisive as algorithms. In this phase, hosting matters, not because it guarantees ownership, but because it creates leverage. The country that runs the servers become embedded in the global AI supply chain, even if the models, intellectual property, and profits sit elsewhere. That's the logic behind India's strategy. AI isn't being treated as a product to own, but as an industrial infrastructure to host. The aim isn't to make Indian AI tools the global default, it's to make India unavoidable, a place where AI workloads are trained, built, and operated at scale. The incentive structure reflects that priority. It's designed to attract massive long-term infrastructure commitments from foreign providers, even at the cost of decades of foregone tax revenue. But the cost of the bet doesn't show up in policy documents. It shows up in daily life. AI data centers are extraordinarily resource intensive. They require massive, uninterrupted power in a country where the grid reliability is still uneven, and enormous volumes of water for cooling in regions already facing scarcity. Those pressures are immediate. The upside is not. The job creation argument sounds compelling at first, but it weakens under scrutiny. Modern data centers are capital intensive, not labor intensive. They create construction jobs up front and relatively few permanent roles afterward. In effect, India would be exporting AI services tax-free while absorbing the environmental and infrastructure burden at home. Over time, that trade-off becomes harder to justify. Power allocated to hyperscale data centers is power not available to households or domestic industry. Water diverted for cooling is water not used by cities or agriculture. Public investment in grid upgrades quietly subsidizes foreign balance sheets, even as domestic users face ongoing constraints. The political risk is an immediate backlash. It's erosion. Support fades as costs accumulate and benefits remain abstract. The entire strategy rests on one assumption, that hosting AI today leads to owning meaningful pieces of it tomorrow. But infrastructure alone doesn't guarantee domestic IP, bargaining power, or broadly shared growth. Without deliberate pathways for skill transfer and value capture, hosting can harden into dependency rather than advantage. India hasn't crossed that line yet, but with incentives this large and timelines this long, it's walking right up to it. This isn't a bet on smarter AI. It's a bet that hosting the future, even without owning it, will be enough to stay relevant as the next era of computing takes shape.